All right, I keep getting a lot of questions between the two Baiardos, the original and the new L or the Lite, about the clamps. So I kind of thought I'd do a short little video to kind of show some of the differences in the clamps, the clamp bases, and the rails. I don't know if you can see it. So here are the rails. These are the rails of the new one. These are the old one. And I hope it kind of comes off. You can see these are kind of shiny and these are more of a matte finish. The original rails are real smooth. I mean, you can run your fingernail on there. I don't know if you can hear it, but you can't hear anything. They're real smooth, real slick. The new ones have a little bit rougher finish on them. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. Anyway, they have a rougher finish, kind of like some of the Alpha maybe, but maybe not quite that rough. I don't know if you can actually see that or not. See the differences in them. But that's really, I guess, the main difference in the two rails. That's the main difference. The other thing, the clamp bases are not interchangeable, is because this track is wider than this track. And it's not by much, but it is wider. It's just wide enough that the little guide nut is too wide to slide through there. So if you were really adventuresome and wanted to buy the original clamps to put onto the new machine, you could probably do it. Take this off and you could probably just take a file or something and sand this down to where it's a little bit thinner through here. And then they'd probably work fine. I mean, other than that, everything else is pretty close. It looks like there's probably more of an arch here than what there is here. It's a little straighter. I don't know if you can see that. I might have just been pointing out my carpet. But anyway, this has a little bit more arch to it. Just a little bit straighter, but it still has an arch. Clamps. So obviously, new clamp. New clamp, they're quite a bit lighter. And if you'll notice, the new clamp has two little springs in it. The old clamp here, which is quite a bit heavier, has just one great big clamp. And the nut that holds them, I guess the adjustment nut, this is the new one. This is the old one. Quite a bit different there. The new clamps, as you can tell, comes apart. And the old clamp does not. It stays together. The new one, I found this kind of odd the first time I took it apart. I thought I lost something. There was a hole through there. And I don't know if it comes off in the camera, but I don't know if I can get a good angle on it. Anyway, this has a groove going down both sides. And it, I mean, just looking at it, looks like there should be a pin that goes through here and slides into that groove. But it doesn't. It just sits in there and works just fine. I mean, so I'm assuming that's a design for something else, maybe, I don't know, or somebody else's clamp, because I know they make clamps for other companies, other brands. Let's see, what else can I tell you? The tops are designed pretty much the same. This one has coarser threads, the bolt's a little bit longer, handle a little bit longer, not much. But this one, not a lot heavier, but it is heavier than this one. So those are the main differences there. The clamp bases, and again, the reason this won't work here is just because that's too wide. But the clamp bases, this is the new clamp bases. These are more like your Gamma and Alpha, you know, on some of your machines. Got the little round nut or bolt, whatever washer that creates your tension to hold it still. But this surface, I don't know if you can see it, a little bit rough, but not really. I mean, it's smooth, but it's not like polished or anything. But it's fairly light. I mean, nothing too dramatic. Whereas the old one, the whole clamp base feels like it's a composite of something. I mean, it's solid. And I don't know if you can, comes off on here, but it has like these little grooves in it around the bottom, which help it to slide, I'm assuming. But that's really the main difference. And this one's heavy. This one, I mean, I don't know what the weight is. It feels like it probably weighs, I don't know, 1.5 pounds or so. This one feels like it probably weighs maybe 1/2 pound, 3/4 pound. I mean, this one's significantly lighter. Other than that, I mean, as posts go, the new clamps will fit on the new one, but it'll also fit on the old one. And same thing with the old clamps. The old clamps will also, see if I can get the sit up and do it. Old clamps will fit onto the new ones. So the clamps are interchangeable if you wanted to use that clamp. But other than that, like I said, I've gotten a lot of questions. People keep asking me, are the clamps interchangeable? What about the bases? What about the rails? So I mean, this is just my opinion. Y'all go with whatever you want to do. I would not put the new or the old bases on the new rails. Just because, again, these are smooth. So obviously it's designed for that style of clamp base. I mean, that composite or whatever it is with the little grooves. Whereas if you were to use it on here, I could see how this rougher material, this rougher surface would probably wear on the bottom of that clamp. It might not, but I can see how it would. Now this clamp, I'd see no problem, which I've actually already done it. Stuck it on this rail just to see if they'd work. And they did, they worked fine. So if you wanted to go with that base, I don't know why you would, but if you wanted to go with that base for this one, you wouldn't have any problem with it. But if you're gonna go with that base, I would also go with the original rails to put onto the new machine. And they are interchangeable. I've tried it. They stick right in. And okay, so here are the little plugs for the ends. And I'll show you something. So the plugs are the same for both machines. I've already taken them out and tried them. But the old one slides right in. So here's how you can kind of tell it's a little bit more narrow. It doesn't just slide right in. You actually got to push these things. You got to kind of finagle them in there. But that's because these are built the exact same with this one, and since this is just a little bit more narrow, they don't just, there, got it in, but they don't just slide in like they do over here. So anyway, that's pretty much everything about the clamps that I can think of. Let's see, pretty rough little surface on them. I mean, it's not so rough it's going to tear up your string. It is a rougher surface. These diamond dusted, I'm assuming what they call it. But anyway, if you have any questions about the clamps or anything, I think that's pretty all self-explanatory. I mean, now kind of explained everything. I've noticed dirt-wise, these stay fairly clean, but these on the inside do get a lot of corrosion. I'm not going to say corrosion, a lot of dirt built up on the inside when I clean them. So anyway, that's the Baiardo bases, the differences in them, and the original and the L. So hope y'all got something out of this video.